What's up, the world? It's your boy Tommy Mal, and I just came in real quick because I want to talk about the series coming up and the series that just ended. Now, there's been a lot of narrative floating around since the Lakers beat the Warriors, and I try my best to just, like I said, ignore dumb stuff. But the stuff that I ignore a lot of times generally ends up bothering me worse than if I would have just ignored it, because it just keeps coming up. Okay, first and foremost, there's several narratives that are connected to that game that I hate. The first narrative is that the Warriors were being the games were not officiated the way they should have, and I've said this 10,000 times. Anybody who believes that is a moron. Okay, so let's point out the empirical data, because we can all sit here and then live in the subjective, which states that both teams should get the same amount of foul calls, which is the dumbest thing in the world. If you're talking about something being random, if it is random, the chance that they're both in such a subjective / ability to randomly, like there is no set thing to calling fouls. If you get fouled, a foul is called, unless there's something going on in which they're not calling obvious fouls, like they did in Game 4. But we ain't gonna talk about that, right? Like I said, people came to my when I put up my blab there. Oh, you wouldn't say anything. Okay, there's a difference. No, teams are not going to get the same amount of foul calls. It's just not. It's not practical, because the majority of times you don't go in there saying, I call the foul on you, so now I got to call a foul on you. See, if you did that, then it would be staged. So we both know that that's some bullshit. That the chances of them both getting the same amount of foul calls is probably slim to none. So what's the second thing? Oh, well, they should get around the same amount of foul calls. It would be the same idea. You can't get around the same amount of foul calls, because if you did that, then it would obviously be staged. Meaning you're just, every time you get one, so that essentially means every time one team commits a foul, you'll go down the court, and whether the other team commits the foul or not, you're just going to call it because you called it on the other. See, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. That would be stupid, right? So the people who are, mostly Warrior fans who are delusional as hell, who can't understand that your team has sucked all year and not at fouling people, guarding without fouling. Regardless, that's first. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Second thing, all year, the Warriors, this is why I say, when I said before, we talk about empirical. We can go to subjective, and subjectives can be very, very misleading, because people just point out, oh, they got this many and they only got this many. Well, that makes sense, and I'll explain why that makes sense. First and foremost, as I told you before, the only difference in the game before was they were calling the foul. They were fouling like hell in those games too. In Game 5, the Warriors were fouling like hell. They just weren't calling them. This game, they were calling them. And I told you guys what was going to happen. I said they're going to get back home. They're going to call those fouls they didn't call before, and they're going to get blown out. And that's exactly what happened. Because there was only one reason the Lakers didn't beat the Warriors in Game 5. It was because they wanted it to go to Game 6. So they weren't calling obvious fouls. When you get to Game 6, the Warriors tried to guard the same way, and they weren't getting the same benefit of the calls. They were calling them. Game 5, they were not calling them, so the Lakers began to jump shoot more, which works into the Warriors' favor. So, if so facto, the Warriors kept the game closer because the Lakers couldn't just penetrate. Second game, game 6, LeBron immediately said, F this. He just started going into the post, playing physical, forcing they weren't calling it. He did not care if they were calling it or not calling it. He was just going. It set the tone. The game became more aggressive. And before, LeBron didn't get a lot of foul calls, but everybody else was getting the foul calls that they weren't getting in Game 5. But this is not a new trend. The Warriors have struggled all year on the road. This is a fact. They were the worst road team in the NBA. You want to know why? Because in Golden State, they're getting away with stuff that they're not getting away with on the road. That's why they're good at home and terrible on the road. They won nearly all their games at home and lost nearly all their losses were on the road. It's because they do this, where they play with this style of play, where they force the referee to call. So their games are generally basically focused on the ref's whistle. If the ref blows them, they're losing. If the ref doesn't blow them, most of the time they can still compete to win. But this is not a new trend. The Lakers, on the other hand, have been one of the best teams in the NBA at guarding without fouling, which is why they are one of the best. They are the number one defense in the league. There's a reason for that. One's a good defense, one's a bad defense. A good defense can guard without fouling. A bad defense cannot. So therefore, you're playing one of the best. Now, let's not even. So we're just going to take that little sample size of factual evidence, and we're going to go on to the next one. The Warriors are statistically the worst team one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league, at guarding without fouling. This is statistical. This is empirical. They've done this all season. So this is not something that the refs just started to call on them in the Lakers series. They have a track record all season of doing this, not being able to guard without fouling. So, no, they did not. The NBA did not choose to call fouls on the Warriors that they don't normally call on the Warriors. They stopped calling fouls on the Warriors that they normally call on the Warriors in Game 5 because they are terrible defensively outside of Draymond Green. So, yeah, no, it's not random that they just started calling these fouls that they weren't calling. They always were calling these fouls on the Warriors. They were calling in this King series. That's why they would win, get blown out, because that's what they do. They just happened to come in Game 7, and the NBA wanted them to win more than the Sacramento Kings, so they weren't calling the same fouls that they were calling the other games, because they wanted that Steph-LeBron matchup. So yes, I do believe the NBA is hella rigged when it wants certain things, and I'm not a person who trusts random patterns. I mean, stuff that should be random shouldn't be that pattern laden. And I just think it was too kismet to have LeBron and Steph playing. To me, it just didn't. Kings and LeBron ain't getting the same rating as LeBron and Steph. And that's money. And people don't play. When it comes to money, I give everybody a side out when it comes to making money. Because I feel like the majority of person does not read the Bible, does not understand what the Bible is asking, and they will do anything for money. And when you got a whole bunch of people that stand to make a whole lot of money from a series that they wouldn't have made otherwise, then yeah, I'm going to go with they're probably doing what's best. Now, when it comes down to guys, they want the product to be as organic as possible. So they're going to influence certain things, but they're not going to influence everything, right? They're going to go Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, and then when it gets to Game 6, I think you just let them play. And then just call it straight down the line, because they really just trying to get to Game 6 because they need a package. But that aside, doesn't make any sense. The Warriors have always been called for these same fouls that these people are bellyaching about, as if LeBron and the Lakers are the only team they call these fouls against. They call it like the Warriors have been the worst all year. Free throw shooting. The Warriors are also at the bottom of they're one of the lowest free throw shooting teams in the league because they are a jump shooting team. They don't attack a lot, and most of the time when they shoot, the person shooting on the Warriors is generally open because of the way that they pass the ball. They're not a team that is predicated on attacking the rim and getting to the foul line. That's not what they do. They're not a team that focuses on scoring in the paint. These are all things that the Lakers are extremely good and extremely motivated to do. This is what they do. So the Lakers are big and physical. They get the ball inside and they force you to either foul them or let them score. This happens, and if they don't get the foul calls, they can play around that because they have two really good players in AD and LeBron. But it's really hard for them to do what they do. But generally, if they get their foul called, the Lakers are generally going to blow anybody off the court because you can't guard them and you don't have enough bodies to keep throwing at them. So if they call the Lakers, LeBron, and AD the way that they're supposed to call LeBron and AD, half of the teams would be fouled out probably by halftime. But they can't, because if they do that, then they're going to be in trouble because you're fouling out these marquee players who are guarding them. So, but regardless, what I'm trying to say, the Lakers are one of the best teams in the league at getting to the free throw line, scoring in the paint, all these things. The Lakers are one of the worst defensive teams in the paint there is. They're also one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the league. The Lakers are one of the best. So, what am I saying? The Warriors did not get hosed. The Warriors played how they were supposed to play. Now, is this a wide, big narrative? No. This is not some huge narrative that's going around. But I just wanted to address it. The second thing, Draymond Green was playing to help LeBron's legacy. We all know where this one came from. I ain't got to tell you, but I'm going to say it anyways. Nut job Jordan fans who, no matter what LeBron does, they're going to find a way to not give him credit. Now, LeBron, Draymond Green, the same Draymond Green that was the best defensive player on the court. Meaning if you take Draymond Green off the court 90% of the time, their team was losing. When Draymond Green got in foul trouble, they got dismantled and blown out. Both games that Draymond Green got in foul trouble, they got dismantled and blown out. So please explain to me how Draymond Green, one of the best defensive players on the court, who played his heart out, cheating and everything else in his power, was trying to let LeBron win. These people are showing clips of LeBron and Draymond Green hugging after the game, saying you can see he's smiling. You could tell he didn't want to win this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What does Draymond Green get out of letting LeBron win in a contract year? This is so stupid. It goes without even the people. Oh, he's doing that because he wants LeBron to go and pick him up in the offseason. Okay, let me get it straight. Draymond Green, who's playing for the Warriors his entire career, now wants to quit the Warriors so he can go play for the Lakers. Never mind you, I don't know how the hell that would fit Draymond Green on the Lakers. But that makes no sense. One, the Golden State Warriors are not dumb enough to let Draymond Green go. And if they are dumb enough to let Draymond Green go, he's not going to the Lakers. Because the only reason why the Warriors will let Draymond Green go is because they don't want to pay Draymond Green. The Lakers are not going to pay Draymond Green what the Warriors won't. So I don't even understand how that makes any sense. Draymond is Draymond. He plays the same way all the time. He's always played the game. You could say if you take Draymond out of Game 5, they're done in game. They're done. If Draymond Green wanted them to win that game, wanted them to lose, Draymond Green wouldn't be making half of the plays he was making. It makes absolutely no sense. But the idea that these stupid Jordan fans would find a narrative that out of absolutely thin air to say, oh, well, we ain't going to give LeBron credit. We're just going to say Draymond Green wanted him to win. It's just nut jobs. And that's why I say I feel sometimes just weird even addressing the stupid stuff they say. But I have to address it because they are morons. As I told you before, half of them are middle-aged, you know what I'm saying, spoiled middle-aged men who generally are conservative because 90% of them don't like LeBron because of his politics. It has nothing to do with how he actually plays basketball. And their love of Michael Jordan is more so about the fact that he was a lack of a better term, he was a houseboy. Like the stuff he did rarely ever ruffles feathers. So that's one reason why they love Michael Jordan so much. They don't like LeBron because LeBron's too uppity to them. He talks too much. He says he puts his 2 cents in things, and he doesn't. He's not just there to be a good basketball player. He has to use his platform to speak on issues, and they don't like that. So that's their reason. So a lot of times I say it's emotionally driven. Most of that stuff that they hate about LeBron, it's not even worth hating on him, but they're gonna hate on him anyway. That aside, you see these players nowadays, and these Jordan fans nowadays, and it's like, what would they come up with next? And when I heard that, I was like, wow, these guys are just nut jobs. Because Draymond Green hugged LeBron, same way Steph hugged LeBron, same way Clay hugged LeBron, same way half of the players on Brandon Wiggins hugged LeBron. Half of these guys have never played sports in their entire life. They don't understand that you can play hard against a person and still respect them for who they are. I can respect another player while still understanding, still competing with them. But sometimes you tip your hat to a person and you say, look, the person on this day, he was just better. And I'm going to tip my hat to him. Well, a competitor knows that. Like I said, you can talk your junk, you can play your mind games, you can do whatever you can do to put yourself in the best position to compete. But at the end of the day, if you, as it's all said and done, you end up losing by 20 points, at that point, you just got to tip your hat to the other team. What was Draymond's dream supposed to do? Curse LeBron out? Say F you and walk away? Excluding the fact that him and LeBron are actually friends off the court. LeBron and Steph are actually friends off the court. Why in the world would these guys treat each other like they're showing Steph on the sideline mad and Draymond Green giving a daps up and this, that, and the third, and they're saying, oh, well, clearly Draymond Green didn't care and Steph did. Well, you can make the argument when Draymond Green was yelling and fighting throughout the thing, and Steph was calm and cool, that somehow it means that Draymond cared more about the game than Steph did. It's very easy to take isolated incidents and draw huge narratives from them. It's just so stupid. And like I said before, I know that I'm just literally freaking talking French to children. You know what I mean? These Jordan fans are just, they care about narrative, and they just want to put something out there that can be in the air so that they can come back and throw it up later. It's like the whole bubble thing, right? The bubble. Yet now we look around, 2 years later, all 4 of the teams that were in that are now fine, that are healthy. The Celtics stayed in it because they were always healthy. The Lakers were not healthy, obviously. They were missing LeBron and AD. The Denver Nuggets obviously were not healthy because they were missing Jokic and Murray and MPJ. The Heat were missing Jimmy Butler. And the Heat are still injured right now. So, and Bam Adebayo last year. So, so Jordan fans who are nut jobs, once again, put out a narrative that the bubble championship was not a real championship. Because you see none of those players who played well in those things, well, half of those players who played well in those things were injured. So how could they play well? The same people will give Giannis credit for beating the Suns, who beat nobody. But we're gonna turn around and give them credit. It's crazy. Because at the end of the day, who was it? Not Giannis, but Giannis beat the Warriors without KD and Steph. And I can't remember who beat the Suns. It don't matter. The point I'm trying to say is they give other people credit for stuff that they for you know what I'm saying, freaking high jumping over a hurdle. But at the end of the day, another person high jumps over an actual six foot, you know what I'm saying, mark, and those people, that guy, oh, he's supposed to do that. It's like, no, he's not. Half of the world can't do that. Why is he supposed to do that? But you sitting here, circus seal clapping because somebody does a freaking high jump over a hurdle. The hurdle's not even made for a high jump, and anybody should be able to do that given the circumstances. This is what happens. Jordan fans are nut job. Now all four of those teams that were in the bubble are now all of a sudden the four teams left when they're healthy are still the four teams left in the playoffs. Go figure. Crazy how narrative of nut job Jordan fans like Skip Bayless completely erase monumental achievements of LeBron because they're nut jobs. Who in the world ever made the idea that playing in a neutral environment is somehow beneficial to the less talented player? Never heard of that in my entire life until nut job Jordan fans start trying to find a way to take away LeBron's achievement again. I said it before and I'll say it again. That was, in LeBron said it himself, and it's 100% true. That was one of the hardest championships to win. You were living in an isolated situation when most people, all they had to do was focus on basketball. There were no distractions. There were no this. There were no that. You just went and you played. That's all you did. Went, play, go back to your room. Go play, go back to your room. You ain't worrying about the crowds. You're not worrying about any of that stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. The NBA bubble was made was made for the average basketball player. It's like a practice. Closed circuit, nobody's heckling you, nobody's booing or cheering you. It's just bland basketball, like they play in practice. And the best teams, once again, rose to the top. The best defensive, best coach, the best players. There's a reason why LeBron and AD, every time they're healthy, as long as they're healthy with enough games left in the season, you just put anybody around them that can contribute, and most of the time they're going to do their diligence, and they're gonna do whatever they need to do to make sure that that team is successful. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, same difference. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, consistent defense and contributing on offense. Jokic, Murray, same difference. That's why these guys are there. And the reason why KD and Book couldn't win. No defense. Reason why Steph, Clay, and Draymond couldn't win. No defense. Reason why Joel Embiid and Harden, one's a liability on defense. This old adage of I'm just gonna put the guys who scoring a bunch of points on the court and it's gonna somehow work out. I think that narrative needs to die. You need defense. Defense is what wins, not scoring 140 points. So the thing that when we first got D'Lo that I did not know was how good of a defensive player he was. And it's not even that he's good; he's just smart. D'Lo is an extremely smart defensive player, and when you watch him play, he plays. He's engaged. He works. He moves. He's physical. He's everything. D'Lo, and he's such a professional. That D'Lo is not out there trying to outdo LeBron. He's not trying to outdo AD. He's just out there getting in where he fits in. Same thing with Austin Reeves. He's not. D'Lo's not out there trying to outshoot Austin Reeves. He's not out there trying to outshoot Dennis Schroeder. He's just out there playing within the system and playing when his opportunities are given. And this man is playing ridiculously good. Everybody's going to talk about Austin Reeves. Everybody's going to talk about Dennis Schroeder, and they should. They are playing great right now. But people need to give D'Lo his flowers. But D'Lo fit because he is not the humility's there. You know what I mean? A lot of these other guys, the humility is not there. Like you look at the Nuggets, watch what I tell you. MPJ is not a third wheel, right? I don't think he likes not being able to score at will. I think he genuinely wants to score, and he wants to be seen as more than just a supporting piece. That's going to come back to bite the Nuggets in the long run, because once Jokic gets stopped and they have to start spreading that ball around, and it ends up in MPJ's hand 9 out of 10 times he's shooting it, and that's going to hurt you in the long run because he's not an efficient scorer. And so I think that's going to cause many problems for the Denver Nuggets, not just in this series, but going forward. Because I don't think MPJ wants to be a third wheel. I think he wants to be a star, and in the way he plays, it's the same thing when you talk about like a guy like a Tyler Hero. Yeah, they're gonna stay for their first contracts because they would be nut jobs not to, because they didn't really make a lot of money in their first contract. So they're gonna make their money in their second contract. But I don't think MPJ is gonna be around there for too much longer. I don't think he really likes playing in Jokic and Murray's shadow. But that's a point for another time. The point I was trying to make in saying that is that a lot of these pieces on these teams, you know what I'm saying, they don't fit seamlessly. Like D'Lo fit seamlessly with what the Lakers did, and you really got to see the difference. Because I was a big fan of Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was a mistake to trade Russell Westbrook, because all the consensus was they were going to trade him for Kyrie Irving, and I remember thinking, I'm not going to get a guy that's going to take up half a bulk of my cap, and he's a liability defensively. This is what the what the Warriors had to do. The Suns had to do. They gave up all their good players for the sake of Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant is a great defensive player, but they have players around him that don't fit seamlessly with what Kevin Durant does. They don't have the pieces. Now in the offseason, now that you know who Kevin Durant is, you can waive CP3 and you can bring in some guys, maybe Kyrie Irving. You can bring in Kyrie Irving to the Suns. Now, would I advise that? No. Not unless he's coming at a lower price, because if you bring him in to play with the KD and he takes up a bulk, you're not fixing your problem. To me, it's like trying to throw wood on fire to make it stop burning. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the wood will sustain the fire, and you may be able to control it a little better than you would if you just let it burn and catch fire to everything. But by the same token, you're still burning up, and your house is still going to burn down eventually. I just don't think that getting Kyrie Irving is going to do much of anything for them, and so I think the Lakers showed a blueprint of the next wave. What you need to do: stop, get two superstars, and surround them with a myriad of role players that can do a myriad of different things. No more of this super team stuff. Let's get 3 or 4 superstars, put them on the same team, and just blow everybody off the court. I think that those days are over. I think LeBron, if you see what LeBron, the best teams, they got 2 good players. All the players people are left in the playoffs are people with 2 good players and a bunch of role players that play well around them. That, like I just said, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and everybody else. Jokic, Murray, and everybody else. LeBron, AD, and everybody else. And I think at some point, LeBron them realized that, and Pelinka realized that. Like, man, we can try to bring in Kyrie Irving, but if we bring in Kyrie Irving, we're gonna be strapped like we always are. We're not gonna have no defense. We're not gonna have nothing to stop people from scoring, and we can get the scoring in a multitude of places instead of just getting it concentrated from one place. Yes, Kyrie Irving might be able to give you 30 a night, but Austin Reeves and D'Lo, you can probably pencil in for 30 a night. But they also gonna play defense. And if one is off, the other one can come in. And Dennis Schroeder, if you add in Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, and Schroeder, that bench is. I mean, just you ain't even talking about just the starters, but just those 4 players alone are giving you probably somewhere between 60 and 65 points a game. Just those 4, right? Because you would make the argument it's like 15, 15, 15, 15. Right? Now, Austin Reeves generally probably going to score closer to 20. D'Lo is generally going to score closer to 20. So now you have 40 and you got 15, 15. Right? And then that's give or take, 2 or 3 points. So I was put him at somewhere between 60 and 65 points a game. If that is the production you getting from those guys, Kyrie could never match that, because they're not only giving you that, they're giving you rebounds, they're giving you defense. Something you cannot count on with Kyrie Irving. Now, if you could get Kyrie Irving in at a discounted price, which I seriously doubt it, because he's not crazy. He's not going to discount. He's not going to give the Lakers no $30, $40 million discount. That's just not happening. So the whole pipe dream of bringing Kyrie Irving in to the Lakers, it would be beautiful if you could keep all those pieces in Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is not coming in for no cheap for cheap. The NBA Players Association would never allow that. And since LeBron is a vocal member of that, I seriously doubt he's going to be okay with that. So that to me is the first domino that I don't think will fall. But those are all things I really wanted to talk about. So if you like and you agree, please comment. and thumbs it up if you like it. And subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.